analyst Nishtha. Imagine a company offered you this deal. Give me 4,369 fully grown trees today and I'll save you just 10 minutes on your drive. Would you accept this deal? Probably not. But that's exactly the debate unfolding in the Uttarakhand right now. The government wants to widen a highway connecting Dehradun, Rishikesh and Jolly Grant Airport. To do that, thousands of trees inside the ecologically sensitive Shivalik forest have been marked for felling or transplantation. At first, this sounds like the usual debate. Development versus environment, road versus forest, jobs versus wildlife. But I think we are asking the wrong question. The real question is this: why do we know the price of every kilometer of highway but almost never calculate the value of the forest that disappears because of it? Because if we keep measuring development only in kilometers, one day we may realize we were building roads to a future that's becoming harder to survive in. The Bhaniyawala Jolly Grant Rishikesh highway expansion was produced to improve connectivity, reduce traffic congestion, support tourism and make travel feel safer. Initially, around 4,369 trees were identified for removal or transplantation. After revisions to the project, the government started the approximately 3,605 trees would be felled, while 754 trees would be transplanted, along with the measures such as elephant underpasses and reduced road width to lessen environmental damage. On paper, that sounds like a compromise, but here's the problem. The Shivalik forests are not just a collection of trees. They are one of the northern India's most important elephant corridors, linking wildlife habitats around Rajaji National Park. Break these corridors and elephants don't simply disappear. They enter villages, they cross highways, human-animal conflict increases. Forests also stabilize fragile Himalayan slopes, recharge groundwater, reduce heat, and slow floodwaters. So when thousands of mature trees are removed, we are not just losing greenery, we are losing natural infrastructure. Following widespread protest inspired by the legacy of Chipko movement, Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami ordered a temporary halt to tree felling and called for a consultation with stakeholders. And this isn't Uttarakhand. Look at Assam. In recent years, protests have erupted over tree felling linked to development projects. People argue that forests aren't empty lands waiting for construction. They are living systems that protect biodiversity, regulate rainfall, support local livelihood, and store enormous amounts of carbon. The same pattern has appeared in Mumbai's Aarey Forest, in Chhattisgarh Hasdeo Forest, and now in Uttarakhand. These aren't isolated protests anymore. They are part of much bigger shift. People are no longer saying don't build roads. They are asking, can we build differently? Here's what I think is the biggest issue. India is trying to solve tomorrow's problem with yesterday's solution. For decades, wider roads meant development. More vehicles, more trade, faster travel. But today, India's biggest challenge isn't just traffic. It's climate change, floods, heat waves, landslides, water scarcity. Ironically, forests are some of our strongest defenses against all of them. Yet when government prepare the budget for a highway, they'll calculate the cost of land, concrete, steel and labor. What they don't calculate is the value of the forest being removed. Economists call this natural capital. A mature forest stores carbon, purifies air, prevent erosion, recharge groundwater, support pollinators, reduce flood damage. And once it's gone, society pays those costs through disaster relief, crop losses, rising temperatures, damaged infrastructure, and expensive climate adaptation. So maybe the cheapest highway isn't actually the cheapest. Maybe it's simply shifting the bill to the future generations. This doesn't mean that India should stop building highways. It means we should start building smarter. Avoid dense forest stretches wherever possible. Design routes around critical wildlife corridors. Invest in wildlife overpasses and underpasses. Make environmental impact assessments transparent and publicly accessible. And most importantly, every major infrastructure project should include the economic value of the ecosystem it destroyed, not just the cost of constructing the road. Because this debate was never really about 4,369 trees. It was about how a nation defines development. If a forest that protects us from flood, heat, drought and climate change is valued at almost zero, then maybe the biggest problem is in the highway. Maybe it is the way we have been measuring progress all along. So here's the question I want to leave you with. What if the most expensive thing India is building today isn't the highway itself but the future we are sacrificing to build it. Do comment your opinions below.